The NYA daily chart into Mark shows an interesting development and a concerning one too. We'll start with the interesting development. The 50% and 100% momentum down was qualified and confirmed on this bar here from the 24th, and it just missed getting tagged with this low at 18,299 and the 50% 18,296. Then the next day on the 25th it was tagged by the low of this bar, so that negated that one for future hits to the downside as it was tagged there, still qualified and confirmed. And the 100% qualified and confirmed exhaustion down at that level. Then on this bar for the 26th, the 50% and 100% momentum up was qualified and confirmed, and that goes back quite a ways. You can see it almost did it here. There was an up close followed by a down close followed by an up close above the level in question, and it ticked higher and did not close higher than this previous bar. So that's when the NYA went into the doldrums, and then that Bollinger Band squeeze was rectified right here. So by qualifying and confirming this MOMO up here for both 50 and 100%, the 50% is qualified and confirmed at that level, and the 100% is at 21,000 something. And those are the two interesting developments. So bottom line for Propulsion, if price can make it up to it and tag it, there's more probability of continued upside eventually, and sooner rather than later. And then same thing for the downside. This 100% exhaustion down, get tagged down here, and there's more downside to ensue more than likely. And the 50% could become qualified and confirmed. We don't know yet. It just started here. So we have to give that several bars before we can qualify and confirm that. But this is the target to the downside, and this is the target to the upside, and the 100% carries more weight than a 50%. The 50% is my doing. That's unsanctioned by the mark, so I add that in. And now on to the concerning development, and that's because this disqualified by TDST did not become qualified and confirmed, as it would have needed to close above that level for the TDST on this bar for the 25th, and it did not by about 8 points or so. So if it would have closed above that, it too would have been qualified and confirmed, and that would have been even more probability added to the qualified and confirmed Propulsion MOMO up for more continued upside, especially if it hits this 50%. So that's a bit concerning. It will be there for support and resistance. Now it's going to be in the way for a while until it becomes qualified and confirmed. So that's a development that's a bit concerning and should be monitored closely moving forward. All that's very complicated, yes, and very informative, so catch a grasp of that. Let's take a look at this ATM trigger. As I suspected, the fast trigger did go below the oversold, and it flattened out a little bit for a couple of days as a slight upwards trajectory, but the ATM trigger has not made it back above the overbought 75 line, and the slow trigger did come down from being above the oversold line, so that's a bit concerning. So we need to have some pretty big upside movement, get everything back up above this overbought line, and markets will be in good shape. And slightly concerning is the fast QQE, similar to RSI, is below the slow QQE, but the fast is above 50 at 57.20, so that's always a good sign. Once it gets under 50, then that could be quite concerning. Over here, it just dipped down a little bit here, got a red trend bar, but then stayed above 50, so that was a good sign too, that it was just idling pretty close to 50 during this period before the Bollinger Band squeeze breakout here. And the Directional Movement Index Plus is still above the minus. It really threatened the minus to go above the plus, which would have been a bad sign there, but came pretty close, no cigar, and then getting a bit of a gap between the two, which is a good sign. And the ADX of the DMI at 21.70 is above 20, and I see a bit of upwards movement direction here, so we can consider that positive price movement to the upside. D wave is on D wave up wave 3, and it will print on a tick higher than this high, and the target is already there, this up projection for wave 3 at 19,469.